I think about it, Dr. Ringo, if the Board of Trustees hadn't started football and you hadn't hired us, we wouldn't know all these people. We wouldn't be here. And so thank you so much and for being president you were and giving us the opportunity. And old coach taught me a long time ago, behind every good man is a great woman. And so thank y'all, both Ron and Judy Engel. My dad's here, and you talk about always finding the positive in everything. My dad, my mom passed of cancer in '06, and his girlfriend, Sybil Sanderson, her husband died in about '04, '02. And so when my mom passed, we started talking as a family right then. Boy, we wish my dad and Miss Sybil would date each other. She's 79 years young, so I call her Miss Sybil. She said, just call me Sybil. And I thank y'all for coming from Cheraw. And, you know, my dad, very proud of him. He's a great man. He was the toughest coach I had. Tough. Oh, my gosh. My younger brother, he had him playing football with a broken arm and a cast one time. My mama didn't talk to him for a week. He was tough, but I love him. He's a great man. You know, you think about, as we go through life, we're all going to have adversity come our way. You know, I think of Steve and Robin Rabin, who lost Colin, who we have the Collins Kids Foundation named for, lost their son at 11. You know, people lose things, you know, losing a child, that's tough. That's real tough. But the good Lord can get you through it. I've got great friends. I've got some of them in here that have gone through divorces. I mean, tough things happen. And so we've got to be ready to go through those tough times. But I want to tell you this. If it wasn't for this community, Ronnie, you bringing us here, we wouldn't have y'all as friends. So you got to always find the positive. You know, at a golf tournament today, you talking about spending time. My wife and this congressional thing, boy, I thought it was God's calling for me to do it. And Mel said, that's man's calling. That ain't God's calling. And so, you know, today I got to take our little boy, Jeb, and the boy living with us, Mac, whose parents are over in Germany stationed, and daddy's in the Army. This boy's been living with us for a year. And getting them at 3:20 and taking them to golf practice and being the volunteer assistant golf coach and spending time with our little boy every day. My wife told me, you go run for this Congress thing, you've gone all the time. It's time for you to be with me and our children and be patient. Let's see what God has in store for you. So she was right again. And today at the golf tournament, you talking about special time. You know, watching our boy shooting the 70s 2 rounds in a row in competition, which he hadn't done until the last 2 days. The boy living with us, Mac, having a great round today, a 74 2-day tournament, and so he was in a playoff for medalist and getting to be there and watch that, and he wins that on the 2nd hole. But that wasn't the great moment. The great moment was when the kid that he lost to, watching him and seeing how disappointed he was in defeat, see him take his golf club and smack his golf bag, and getting a chance to walk over to him and look him in his eye and say, son, are you a senior? He said, I'm a sophomore. I said, he's a senior. I said, that kid's trying to earn scholarship money to go to college. I said, you learned a valuable lesson today. This lesson will go with you the rest of your life. Next time you're in a playoff, you'll be ready more. I said, find the positive, son. You had a great experience today. He looked at me and he said, thank you, coach. I wouldn't have got that chance. Coming back from Mississippi this weekend, you're talking about a great opportunity. I got invited to speak at Southern Miss University's football clinic with high school coaches. Got to see old Coach Ford again, Danny Ford, who turned 64 on Tuesday. He spoke on Friday night, and I got to speak on Saturday morning. You're talking about an honor and a privilege. And spend time with him just talking things other than just football, talking about players and how much they mean in your life. I wouldn't have gotten to do that. We watched our daughter cheer for 3 basketball games, Florida State, Wake, and Duke. She flipped down that court, just flipping, and ends up at Duke's bench, and Krzyzewski reaches out to grab her, and I thought, man, Krzyzewski, don't touch our daughter. Well, I wouldn't have been able to do that. See, in everything, I think we got to find the positive. In everything. Anybody can find the negative. Find the positive. Getting off that airplane, coming back into Florence, I looked, walking in, and I saw a soldier coming home. And I walked by and told him, thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you're doing for our country. He looked at me and said, thank you very much. His wife grabbed him, and they embraced. And the two little kids are jumping up. And then he went over there with his two children and just held them, and they wouldn't let go. And so as we look at things in life, always find the positive. Appreciate what we do have. Appreciate our friendships. Appreciate our children, our parents. I used to call my dad all the time, and I'd say, I love you, Pop. He'd say, yeah, bye. And then he'd say, love you, bye. He's from the old school. I see him now. Every time I see him, I hug him, and I give him a kiss on the cheek. And I tell him I love him. Because, see, you shouldn't take a day for granted. Don't take a day for granted. What if we lived every single day like it was the last day we were going to have on this earth? It'd be an awesome place. It'd be an awesome place. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for supporting the Salvation Army. My wife and I are very honored to be a part of the first roast. I'm glad it's over. But everyone here, you're very, very special to us, and we love you very much. Thank y'all.